Microphone check. Greetings, 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 family, kings and queens, Tendam Worry, you know what I mean? Welcome to Got Kush TV's first ever live microphone check. Greetings, 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 family, kings and this playback. All right, cool. So I'm just making sure that heads are here. If ones and ones can hear me and it sounds like I'm coming to you quite loud and clear, just let me know, you know what I'm saying, by leaving a comment in the chat that is on your right hand side, family. You know what I mean? You know, we've got a few people watching right about now, and we're gonna let the family come in slowly but surely, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you're watching right about now and you can hear me loud and clear, look on the right hand side of your screen and see the chat and just leave a comment saying, yeah, you can hear me, you know what I'm saying? Shakara Medea, you get me? And yeah, greetings and welcome. We encourage you to click the like button as you enter the zone of this Got Kush TV live also, you know, because we want to make sure that the presence of this video is felt all over YouTube and all over the world wide web, kings and queens. All right, so make sure you do that. And yeah, our subject today, as you can see, is the power of black media. Yes, indeed. You may or may not be aware that we launched the flagship show, the InSight, on the 7th of January, and this was the subject. And so we thought it would be a good idea, because we're laying the foundation for what Got Kush is and what Got Kush will be and what Got Kush will become, to really engage a conversation, start a conversation whereby we just, you know, shout out our audience and get the vibe of our audience so that we can be assisted in building this platform and serving you in the best way that we can, you know what I'm saying, with the knowledge that we have, with the expertise that we have, with the conviction that we have, but always guided by the needs of our community. All right, so we want to make sure that that happens in synergy with you, so we're creating this platform in order to facilitate that process. So we give thanks for you joining us, kings and queens. If you have not seen that particular episode of the InSight, you can check out the description in the box below the video. Just check out the description and you will find a link to that video. Not only will you find a link to the first InSight, you will also find a link to the Got Kush 2.0 trailer, which is gonna, it just basically outlines, you know, our program and what we got coming for the rest of the year, in particular the next few months, you know what I mean? And so you would have seen, if you saw that before the InSight, you would have seen that the InSight was one of the shows that was coming, and we have delivered on that promise, kings and queens, you know what I mean? You will also find a link to the next episode of the InSight, the teaser for the next episode of the InSight, and also the stream page for that next episode also, which we will be premiering this coming Monday, the 21st of January. Yeah, and the title of that is Joe Minister and Kehinde Andrews versus Winston Churchill and the British Parliament. Gonna be a very interesting one. I won't delve too much into what the contents are gonna be, you know what I'm saying, but you know, it's looking like it's gonna be a good one, kings and queens. It's a beautiful process developing this show, and we're looking to keep it consistent. So for now, the InSight will be every other week, every other Monday we'll release one, and we're gonna be moving up to every week, on a weekly show, weekly vibration, you know what I mean, from here on out. All right, so without further ado, let me introduce my panel to you. Yeah, all but one of them is currently in the building, in the vicinity, and so we're going to get into this conversation right about now. Let me start with the sisters, the queen, the goddess. Sister Yemaya, are you with us?
I'm with you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Kings and queens, get used to this particular voice right here, because you're going to be hearing her a lot on Got Kush TV, you know what I'm saying, and seeing her as well, kings and queens, you know what I mean. So do you know, get used to Sister Yemaya's vibration. Sister Yemaya, just let people give people a vibe for who you are, what your interests are, and what you do.
Okay, so I am an independent domestic and sexual violence advocate, currently working jointly for the NHS and the local authority. I've been working in this sector since about 2013 in the violence against women and girls sector. I'm also interested in life coaching, empowering women, and also empowering our young people in the area of education and educational support.
All right. And so we've invited Sister Yemaya because she's, you know, part of the Gotkush family and soon becoming, you know, a presenter and them kind of things there. And we're also going to be tapping some of her studies into the beautiful field of marketing, also Kings and Queens. You know what I mean? So I've been studying some of that myself, so we're going to share that. And one reason why that's important is because sometimes we're doing good things in our community, you know, but our community is not aware of what we are doing, because oftentimes when you're so engrossed in the work, you don't always have the opportunity to engage in, spend time on, and spend money on a whole heap of marketing, Kings and Queens. And so we're going to delve into that and the importance of that for a media platform. And I'm also going to hand over now and introduce my other panelist who's here with us right about now. He goes by the name of Rap Raven. Greetings, Rap Raven. You there?
Hello, family. How's it going? I'm good. I'm out.
Good. Let's let the people introduce yourself to the people, them, Rap Raven. Let them know who you are and what you do.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, well, this is Rap Raven. Some of you guys might know me from Speaker's Corner, speaking about Black betterment building, trying to educate Black people and unify Black people to dedicate time to helping Black people collectively. Me personally, I've been working marketing and media for a long time, very long time. My specialist skills is graphic design, motion design, video editing, sound engineering, and also UX and UI design. So, so that's my area of interest, and that's me.
All right, cool. So we're going to be tapping that expertise, Kings and Queens, and we're going to get from Rat Raven today, like the importance of being experts, yeah, in those particular areas and how we can best utilize them, yeah, those skills and those talents in 2019 and beyond, you know what I mean? Because they say we live in a digital age now, so there must be, like, this is the age was there. We're supposed to be able to make the most out of them, Kings and Queens. We are supposed to be able to make the most out of them kind of skills right there. And finally, I see my good brother has just joined us. Greetings, brother Tahaka, aka Scattered Minds. You there?
Big up, greetings, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Yes, sir. Greetings and welcome. All right, Scattered, just let the people them know who you are and what you do.
All right, cool. So I do work in communications and engagement, public relations mainly. I've done radio, community radio shows, broadcasts, and podcasts for the past like about 10 years coming now. It's been a while since I've been doing that. Actually, it's been mostly I've done that. I've previously done youth work around the Ladbroke Grove area, but yeah, I mean that's mostly my background in this, I suppose. I do a lot. Right now, I've got the Scan Minds podcast I'm doing right now on YouTube, just trying to work out the whole live thing and get that rolling, and then see how it goes. But yeah, I forgot to talk about this, about the power of Black media and the importance of Black media and the importance of like actually pushing these platforms and getting more people tuned into our media. I honestly think this YouTube platform that they have here with this live thing, and hopefully, one day we could get off YouTube onto something of our own making.
All right.
100%. But right now, while we have this, I think this is actually offers a real threat to conventional television and the conventional sort of gatekeepers to media, and people are actually able to become their own media. And I think we have to do more to get our community watching more of our online stuff rather than perhaps watching the mainstream media. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. True to form, brother Tahaka is, kind of preempted one of the places I was going to go.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's all beautiful. It's all good. Preempted one of the places I was kind of going to go in the midst of this conversation. But yeah, it's important, that we not only talk about developing our own media, but developing our own platforms to showcase our own media. So we're going to delve into that as well. Big up to the people that are tuning in. Big up to brother Nino Brown, locked on, and whoever else is here. Big up to people that have hit the like button already. If you're new to Gotkush TV, feel free to hit the subscribe button, also Kings and Queens, and share the link. Yeah, share the link far and wide. Share it far and wide, and let people them know. Say we're there. We're live right about now, and we're discussing the power of black media. Want to send a special shout out to my sister Kush in Birmingham, you know what I'm saying, because she was supposed to join us for this conversation. Unfortunately, our beautiful British weather has got hold of her, you know what I'm saying, but she's a student of media up there at Birmingham City University, you know what I'm saying, but we'll get her on Got Kush TV very, very, very soon. So let me start with Tahaka then, yeah, and just ask you, my brother, like in terms of media in the society in which we live here, like just in general now, not necessarily specific to black people or any specific people, like what is the role of media in the society in which we live, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you take it there, calm. Yeah, that's a good question. Media is technically the fourth estate, right? So in government, you have three estates of government, basically. So you have the executive, which consists of the government, the prime minister, and the cabinet, right? Then you have the legislature, which is parliament, how you make the laws. And then you have the judiciary, which is the judges. And basically, these three arms of government are supposed to work together and keep themselves and regulate each other, basically. So the judges overlook parliament overlooks the executive overlooks the judges. So they're all supposed to check each other, checks and balances. Now the media comes in. Why they call it the fourth estate is because the media is supposed to hold it all into account. It's supposed to be the people's platform and the people's eye into all of that, basically. And beyond that, basically. So media and news goes beyond that. But it's called the fourth estate because it's that important, basically, to actually the function of society and the functioning of government. Then news out through the media. People get to register their complaints and they get to listen to the public quite a lot through the media. So in any sort of society, or if we're talking about nation building, media plays a massive role. It's an unspoken role. That's why it's called the fourth estate. It's not really recognized, but it's a massive role in any society. But yeah. All
right. So in this society now, yeah, I'm gonna put it to you like this, yeah, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But newspapers, as far as newspapers go, yeah, you've got the Daily Mail that represents kind of the right in this country, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll put the Sun in that category as well, kind of right wingish. Yeah. And then you've got the Guardian that's supposed to represent the left, yeah, in this country.
Right, yeah, basically.
And then the Independent's supposed to be in between?
Yeah, supposed to be independent, in between, have views from both sides and in the middle.
Right, yeah. So kind of, you know, where, like, in that whole matrix, yeah, is there any significant black media like bringing a black narrative or a black agenda like nationwide?
Yikes. No, not anymore. So we've had things like the New Nation, for example, which I think was actually funded by, I think, Mike Ashley's son or something like that. And then a white man. And then you had and we have The Voice, which is still going, obviously, our longest running African Caribbean newspaper here in the UK. Now, I would say the Voice has actually massively declined in influence, both amongst ourselves as a culture and a community, and across the wider community, in the eyes of the white people now, basically. I don't think The Voice is looked at or quoted much often. It's mostly online. One print edition a month, I think. I'm not sure exactly.
Right. Which brings me to my next question.
Sorry, go ahead. But I was going to say newspapers in general have also fallen off. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say, so is that the decline in newspapers or black newspapers in general? Yeah, has it been like kind of balanced out by an increase of our influence or presence in terms of the digital space, digital media?
I would say so. Yeah.
So, all right, go ahead.
Digital media consumption has taken precedence over print media in all areas. And with The Voice newspaper being a minority newspaper anyway, it's only natural that it will see a decline in relevance in comparison to the other papers, considering that we will be the main consumers of that paper anyway as black people, and we make up a small percentage of the population. And now we are mainly consuming digital media anyway.
So would you say that the black presence in digital media is significantly more felt.
Yes, and I feel like there's a lot more of a platform for that to happen because it's an independent platform. We don't need anybody to set up our own media in a digital sense. We can do that by ourselves independently, as we're doing tonight. Whereas with a newspaper, it's not as straightforward as that.
Right. All right, cool. All right, so I mean, you kind of brought me to the thing then, yeah, in the sense of Sister Yemaya, yeah, like in your experience or observation, yeah, to what extent do Black people use digital media for the sake of like forwarding a Black agenda? Does it serve us? You know what I'm saying? How we use social media, does it tend to serve us?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Could you rephrase it?
Yeah, so in the sense that, in the fact that, like, so, all right, for example, yeah, I don't know if you remember a few years ago where there was a lot of memes going around, like niggas be like and bitches be like,
yeah.
And so, like, obviously, we could say that those things were really, it might have been fun and jokes, but in effect, like, we were just basically spreading a lot of negative propaganda about ourselves across the internet, yeah. So I'm asking, like, to what extent do we see, and then on the other hand, you might say, for example, that Black social media, for example, has raised awareness about the impact of police brutality, yeah. You might say that. Just what I'm saying. In your experience, just observation, we're not looking for nothing scientific here, but to what extent are we using media for like the more positive angle or more the negative angle?
I would say we are using it in both aspects, but negative media, regardless, is always more widely shared, regardless of what it's about. But I would say, in my experience, what I've observed is that we are using digital media, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, to share stories, good and bad. We've got a money mob, for example, which is a positive thing that goes around every now and then. More so than I would pick up a newspaper and read about it. I would hear about it in a WhatsApp group or on somebody's status or on a Facebook share.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Raven.
Hello.
Yeah, hey. Yes, so yeah, just want to get something from you now, because you've been working in this field, innit? Yeah, for a long time, and just give us an idea from your observation, from your vantage point, yeah, of how influential digital media is, and like basically, being able to be a master of creating digital media. What kind of influence can we wield in the current climate?
Well, yeah, I think digital. One thing that makes digital stand out so much, as it was mentioned earlier, is it's quite easy to set up. One of the things, quite easy to set up. But one of the things that makes it extra useful is the ability to share, as we were talking about. So this is where, like you just said, like there's certain memes that might be actually counterproductive or what have you. But this is the importance of it. So. Yeah, this day and age, it's good. I mean, I don't want to go too deep, but the easy accessibility is a good thing. But one of the challenges is ownership, which we'll probably move on to, because obviously you are limited in what you can do when you're on another person's platform.
Yes.
And that's why that's what I'm trying to go. That's where I would like to steer the conversation later on, I guess, of the next option of how do we get to that level.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly where I want to go. That is exactly where I want to go. Yeah. Right. But what do you make of what Tahaka said earlier in terms of whilst we're here, and we make the most of it? Is there still a job to be done before we get to that point?
100%. Yeah, I think like what we can do is you can have like exodus and migration programs. So the idea is you're going around, you get in the field. And what will happen is your viewers will inform you of where your next step. So, for example, you might use platforms like WhatsApp or YouTube, and then you're realizing that at a certain point you're actually limited. And once you've got a big following, but you're limited, you can't actually please them or grow anymore. That then pushes you to actually try to come up with a new solution or a new product or a new app that actually caters to the particular needs. I think. One thing with us as a community is we adapt a lot, and we don't even know we're adapting. So, for example, we go to work and we adapt. We might adapt our way of speaking or way of dressing because we might stand out a bit. But I think when it comes to actually making products for our community, we don't necessarily have to adapt. We have to build direct, and I think that's where the growth is, where we're going to be catering directly for the needs of the collective. So yeah, I think, you know, I'm going the way around the world a bit, but yeah, there you go.
You know what, I do want to come back to later on in terms of, because you said you're not going to go deep, but I do want to go a little bit deep in terms of the limitations of us remaining on these platforms a little bit later on. But we're going to come back to that. I want to welcome all those who are newly engaging in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Big up to Veli up in the place. Big up to Amelia. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that even if you haven't commented, well, you know what? I want to encourage everyone, yeah, to utilize the chat feature. Let us know you're here. We're going to take questions in the chat as well. You know what I'm saying? We will be giving out the link, yeah, in about half an hour ish. So we're gonna give out the link to the chat in terms of you can come live with us and ask a question or make a contribution. There are certain rules to that, however, yeah, because we've got to maintain quality control on Got Kush TV. So I will be imposing certain rules on the live calling situation. However, before then, feel free, yeah, to use the chat to make a comment or ask a question, and especially if you @Got Kush TV, @Got Kush TV, I will endeavor my best to read it out live on the platform or ask your question live. If you just want to, you know, type it as opposed to coming live. And also, you know, let me remember to let you know that there is also a super chat feature. Yeah, so if you enjoy, if you've had a quick browse, yeah, of the Got Kush TV video library, and you like what we're dealing with, and you want to encourage it, and you want to fund it, and you want to ensure that we're able to grow bigger and badder and blacker, click the super chat button, kings and queens, in the chat, and it's, you know what I mean, send us a little donation. It don't matter how small, you know, and it certainly don't matter how big, you know what I mean. We take big contribution and small contribution. It's all good around here, yeah, kings and queens. We want to encourage you to share the link as well. You know what I'm saying? We're not opening the line yet, so we haven't shared the calling line. The link for this particular video to view can be accessed by hitting the share button. So simply do that, kings and queens, you know what I mean? Well, yeah, and ensure that, you know what I mean, like there's 20 people watching right about now, and there's like 12 likes. So we want to see if we can get as many likes as there are viewers, you know what I mean, and ensure that the presence of the video is raised across the platform of YouTube. You know what I mean? There's more people coming in because I know certain people are sending around the link, sending around the link right about now, you know, kings and queens. So the audience is going to build, and we're going to have a nice, beautiful conversation. And yeah, make sure you utilize the chat. You ain't even got to make sure that we see it, you know. If you want to chat to the brothers and sisters in the chat, feel free to do that also. But if you do want to talk to us, once again, @Got Kush TV, @Got Kush TV, to highlight, you know what I mean, your particular comment, or send a super chat to highlight your particular comment, and we will make sure that we read it out. Bigging up Danger, Remy, bigging up Buddha Bing inside of the place, also, kings and queens, and giving thanks to all those who have hit that like button. You done know. All right, so let's move forward in this a little piece more. Yeah, now I really, what I want to go into, yeah, is, could we ask a few questions for those who have not seen the first episode of the InSight? First of all, slap yourself, and secondly, you know, make sure you do after this video. But we're going to explain a little bit about what we dealt with. I started by going into a breakdown of the legacy of Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, and they had a massive success here in media from the 1920s through the 1940s, when the movement was strongest, yeah. And they had a number of forms of media. I focused in on one form of media, which was the Negro World newspaper, but they also had the Black Man newspaper. They also put on plays, yeah. They also recorded albums, yeah. They also were actually going into visual media. So a lot of the footage that we see in terms of, moving image media. So a lot of the videos that we see of the UNIA were actually recorded by the UNIA, and they would show it, you know, in the various different Liberty halls that were owned by the UNIA. You know what I'm saying? And so they were going into that. That was what's going on then, yeah. So they were literally mastering the media. In fact, at one convention, they were actually tabling a motion to start a radio station, and this was in the 1920s, yeah. So all of these forms of technology were relatively new, if we consider the fact that they say the birth of Hollywood is 1915, yeah. You know what I mean? So I just want to really kind of explore some of the questions that I asked at the end of the video, at the end of the video, and I'm just gonna throw it out to the panel. First of all, let me send a shout out to Amelia N. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, big up for sending a £5 in the super chat, kings and queens. Feel free to follow suit if you feel so moved. I want to send a big shout out to Danger Remy. You know what I'm saying. Where's my brother Nkosi? How you mean? Nkosi's locked on. Danger Remy. Big up to Nkosi, founder. And one of the directors and co-director of Got Kush TV. You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna call his name, but you say you bait it up all over the chat. I just thought, I'll big up my partner in this endeavor. You know what I'm saying? And big up to the whole Got Kush TV team. Big up brother Obi. Big up brother Akin, Tunde, and brother Ray. You know what I mean? You done know the whole team is working hard, kings and queens. Big up Joe L. And you don't know. So we want to go into this thing now, and just in terms of what is it that we need to be doing as black media in this time to really have an impact on our community. And you can address it from the perspective of the conversations that we need to be having with each other and facilitating on our media platforms. You can address it from the kind of information that we need to be putting out there, or you can address it from a more technical perspective, marketing perspective. You know what I'm saying? Whatever perspective you feel to drop it from. Anyone can go first. Let me come to Sister Yemaya first on that question. What is it that you think we need to be doing?
Okay. I've been thinking about this question for quite a while, actually. And for me, I would say a bit of everything. We need a bit of everything. Right. We need serious discussions. We also need a little bit of light-hearted discussions. We need some music. We need some. I know what you mentioned about, Marcus Garvey earlier, and how his movement kind of was venturing into different areas. Something that was a bit that goes across a broader platform. So there's something for everybody, because what the current media that's out of our control kind of portrays us as one kind of type of black person. And there's so many different types of black people who have different, priorities and different interests that kind of can be catered to under one umbrella. If we look at a TV network, we don't have a TV network, but if we was to have a TV network that had a show like this and maybe a music show like Link Up TV, all on one channel, I guarantee that the ratings will be so high, because there'll be so many pockets of the community that will be able to tune into that one single platform, and then we can generate the audience moving forward in terms of having a bigger media strength. If that makes sense.
All right. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna come back to you in a second, sis. But I'm gonna hand that over now to brother Tahaka. See what his contribution is.
Yeah, I think I'm big up to everyone on the panel as well. Sorry, just the mayor. And to Raven as well. Sorry, I didn't say it earlier. I think I think one of the big things that we need is innovation. I think that's the main key thing that media channels need. Obviously, I'm quite into engineering and to like getting people into science, engineering, and mathematics, and to looking into computer sciences, and actually pushing our media platforms to the next level. Because I think actually what we were talking about, and I think it's quite linked to the earlier conversation we was having about The Voice newspaper, and what happened there in terms of them missing. I think personally, we have to actually to some extent blame ourselves in terms of this. In terms of, I think the media platform that we did have with the media didn't capitalize on its success and its market, and the fact that black people were moving to the digital platform so quickly. It took a long time for The Voice to get a website, and still to this day, I'm not even sure if the website is up to what we would say is 2019 standard. Do you know what I mean? From the last time I was on it, it still seems a bit dated when I'm using it. It doesn't seem as up to date as everything else. And so I think we do have to be a bit innovative when we do get into those positions, and we do have a strong leadership, and we have sort of money and leverages to actually take those steps to actually maybe take out a business loan or do some kind of funding round to try and get more money and do a better app, a digital program, something that was going to keep your people with you. Because I think a lot of people dropped off of The Voice because the results weren't as good, and I think a lot of people went to like this was saying, things like Link Up TV and things like that. So I think once we get these platforms, it's on us to have somebody who's there, the chief engineering officer, someone there who is there to be innovative, to look for how we could disrupt the business and keep going further and not just settling for what's working today.
All right. So same question to you, Raven.
Yeah, I think everyone pretty much took the words out of my mouth really well. I agree fully. I think I don't know. I think having an open discussion, like one of the challenges you face is people become so integrated with ideas that some might feel, is there a need for a black media? I think this is one of the challenges we face. So I think always us showing the needs or the necessity of actually black media coming. Well, you know, what's the value? What challenges are we giving solutions to? You know, and if we identify like what is it that we're lacking by not having the media, the answer to that question will then provide how we actually find that solution.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So I mean, it bleeds onto many things. It could be like, you know, by not having actual dedicated black shows, like we don't, our actors are always getting like supporting roles and certain roles that maybe they might be less comfortable with. So if we had, for example, a series on, I don't know, Mansa Musa, or a series on Marcus Garvey, or something of that nature, then there's already like roles as like acting roles and dancing roles. Because there's a regular series, there's a regular soap, or even like a soap, like every time, like, you know, it goes even bigger, like getting black writers, black producers and stuff, and then you get like a black-minded narrative. So I think that's me from stuff.
Having said that, brother Raven, what I want to do, is quickly just big up my brother, Malik Sankara, because he recently he wrote, directed, and produced a film called Dream of Ade, and I'm going to share the link, right, in the chat, for brothers and sisters to go check out this particular film. But the film is really really addressing the issue of police brutality, but he does it using, you know, African mysticism, so to speak, particularly Ifat spirituality, you know what I'm saying? That's, you know, the vehicle through which he addresses the issue. It's a short film, but it's beautifully done. And I'm sharing it, because we're going to share it in Got Kush TV. I'm sharing dreamofade.com in the chat right about now for brothers and sisters to go check that out, because it's a narrative and a methodology of addressing a very serious issue, from our perspective, in a way that you're not going to see, you know, in general mainstream media. You know what I mean, so that's a beautiful example right there. Because we want to provide examples. Got Kush TV is all about solution-orientated media and putting the power in black media. You know what I'm saying? So check that out, kings and queens. You know what I'm saying? But that what Raven just said just reminded me of that. Want to spend a special shout out to Brother E Black. Brother Rich, they are, you know what I'm saying? Big up Brother Rich, you know what I mean? Garvin lives. Marcus Yahweh said 24/7, 365. You don't know, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know what I mean? And big up the family. You know what I'm saying? Once again, remind to like the button. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button also. And share the video, Sister Yemaya, you mentioned something the other day, about so not the other day, just a minute ago, about the kind of varied programming, and I see where you're going with.
I just wanted to kind of very saying about the Dream of Ade in relation to that you're gonna make. Dream of Ade would have been great content for, you know, black media platforms. If we had a black media channel, you know, in terms of content, having something like Dream of Ade on it, as well as something like the InSight, as well as something like, you know, a music channel that does the latest music videos, something that encapsulates, you know, like a UK BET, something like that. I think that what we need to do is look at models that exist and that are working well, and model them, replicate them, you know. And you know, we've got to also distinguish between black-owned media versus black-targeted media. Now, some black-targeted media really is good, and some of it's bad. And equally, some of the black-owned media is good, and some of it is bad. We've got to take what serves our community and what serves our needs, and replicate that under one platform. There's so many channels out there. I think black media in the UK is growing at a really fast rate. There's so many different things going on now in terms of black media, but it's very bitty. And if we was to get together and put that as content under one platform, pull your money together, your resources together, your knowledge and expertise, you'd have something to work with.
All right. Well, boy, you know what? You touched a hot button issue there, you know, in terms of this black-owned versus black-targeted media. My Lord, we're gonna have to come back to that one, But what I want to ask you for now, it just like I want some examples, of issues, in our community that you don't think are being very well represented by media in general or black media in specific. And, you know, kind of, like, let's say, for example, Got Kush TV, yeah? Like, what kind of issues happening in our community do you think that we need to be addressing? And if you think that it's being addressed but not being addressed correctly, how do you reckon we can address it correctly?
See, I could easily go and say the bait thing like knife crime or poverty or, you know, broken families, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna say what we address is what we need to see more of, not what we need to see less of, or what, you know, what's been misrepresented. I want to see more Cosby-like shows. You know, that's not being, those kind of issues that are positive issues are not being addressed enough, not being portrayed enough. I want to see more of that. You know, I want to see more my wife and kid type things, but a UK version. I want to see, do you remember that show from back in the day that was on Trouble called Girlfriends? Something like that. And we've had that. We had a little web series on YouTube. I can't remember what it was called now. That Letitia Hector was the actress. I think her name was Letitia Hector. Stuff like that, good quality. And then we can use those to address the issues like knife crime, but not as a main focal point, but as a sub point of the narrative that is offering solutions around it. Because obviously, when you tell a good story, as a good storyteller, you want to have your problem and you want to have a solution. And the problem within that story could be the knife crime issue or a relevant issue or political issues happening within our community at the time, but that shouldn't be engulfed. There should be engulfing healthy narratives and narratives that we want to project and want to promote within our community. Because at the end of the day, media is such a powerful tool at socialization, and it's such a big propaganda tool. And if we're ingesting models of negativity and all focusing on what's going wrong, then how are we going to model and absorb into our minds, into our subconscious about what's going right, and how we continue to model what's going right, what we're doing right, what we need to do right? So that's just my position.
All right. Well, all right. I'm gonna put the panel on notice, yeah, because in a sec, right, what I'm gonna do, yeah, this just came to me. I'm going off the fly right about now, yeah, and I'm gonna do a little quick fire round in a second, just before we open up the lines, and I'm gonna throw out an actual topical issue, yeah, and I want you to give me an example of how it's not being represented by media right about now, black or otherwise, and how we should be representing the issue if our black media is going to serve our community. So hold that in your head for a second, whilst I big up brother M.A. Brown. Give thanks for the contribution, hitting up the super chat, nice and easily. Give thanks. We are humbled by your faith in us, my brother. And he says a re-education on how to consume media is required before we can see the creation of media that does not damage. Much to learn. Panel missing some notes. All right, brother Emmy, we're gonna we're open up the lines soon, yeah, and that's the whole point, you know, because we don't expect to know all and everything. We're not gonna cover all the issues in our conversation, but you will have an opportunity to make your contribution quite shortly, kings and queens. You know what I mean? You know, I'm sure we're all missing a tool in our arsenal, you know, so we're gonna make sure that our community comes in, and this is the whole point of this platform, to be able to engage with you all, yeah. You know what I mean? This is that's the whole point of this thing. The panel was just there, you know what I mean, to facilitate, what your appetite for the conversation, and then we're gonna get to interact with you all, yeah. And so I asked Sister Yemaya about the conversations that we need to be having, yeah. Tahaka, I'm gonna ask you this question, because I know you're a man that's well knowledgeable on the political situation in the country. Big up 9 Ifa in the house. You done know, my sister. Good to see you. And B to the P. How you mean? Big up for joining us and commenting in the chat. But yes, Tahaka, I want to know, for example, yeah, because so every election, Tahaka, yeah. How familiar are you with Operation Black Vote?
Very,
yeah. Right. Now, every year, yeah, like, every election, they put out a kind of you know, what's supposed to be like a black manifesto, yeah?
Yeah.
And I've read it, and I've always kind of felt that it kind of falls short of being a black manifesto.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because, you know, in the sense that it's useful in that it gives us an idea of our stand in some ways in terms of, you know, how certain particular issues are going to affect our community. But the kind of organization that there doesn't seem to be an agenda necessarily behind it. And maybe it's not possible for them to have an agenda behind what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? But from your perspective, yeah, how would a media that is serving Black people address kind of everyday social, economic, and political issues?
I think we would probably start with things like Operation Black Vote to a certain extent. I think we'd look at somebody like Simon Woolley and how he's running that organization, if it really is serving the community properly. And I think that's what really we need our media to be doing, is to hold in people who do have leadership in leadership positions in our community to account. And I think you start at a low level. And I think something like Operation Black Vote, which get government funding, like you say, they are limited in how much they can move, but I'm not sure how much they do beyond and how much reaching out they do to wider parts of the community and how much they are representative of the community and how much they are just an in-group, happy to retain an in-group status without the rest of the community.
Right.
So yeah, I think we need media to be looking at things like that. But yeah, I mean, covering politics more widely and more generally would be massively advantageous to us and would be definitely important, especially if we start doing things like creating vote impacts and looking at certain communities where we are strong and looking at how we could actually control these elections. Having a strong media presence will force politicians to have to actually talk directly to our community, and will force them to actually I mean, they could ignore our platforms easily, of course, especially as it is right now, because we don't necessarily vote and things like that. But once we have these platforms and they are present, and they are loud and they are there, they can't be ignored anymore. Do you know what I mean? And they will have to do that. I mean, to be fair, I was with Content Over Everything the other day at the Yellow Vest protest, and we got an interview with John McDonnell. And to be fair, all we had to tell him was we was like a young youth media channel, and he was very happy to jump on board. But and there's certain politicians who will definitely just want to do that sort of thing anyway. Do you know what I mean? There's others who you're going to have to chase down and hound down, and especially Black politicians who are supposed to represent us. Those would be the key ones that we really would be hounding down to ask them directly: are they representing the community, or are they getting a free ride off of the back? Because a lot of people, you know, especially within politics, being Black was very popular, especially within the Conservative Party under David Cameron. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of people were given very good positions off of the back. They were Black, and the belief that they could bring Black voters in. And maybe they did manage to succeed in doing that in places, but if they did, they ought to be accountable to the community. Sorry if I went on too long there.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Kings and Queens in the chat, all the viewers watching, stay tuned because we will be opening up the lines in about 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes. And you know what I mean? Do check out the questions at the end of the InSight episode 1 video. We want to ask you, you know, what does Black media need to be doing in order to serve you? Yeah, what problems does Black media need to be solving in order to serve you? And how do you think the community at large, yeah, you know, can contribute to the success of the building and developing independent Black media? That's what we're focusing on today, you know, independent Black media. My brother M.A. made a statement a while ago, you know, which I think is very important, to the effect that you know, the community itself needs to even be re-educated in terms of how to consume media. Yeah, and I can see that. I mean, I teach media studies to teenagers. Yeah. And that's one of the major things, you know, in terms of getting them to achieve critical autonomy, being able to analyze and break down media independently for themselves, because there's too much passive consumption, you know, in an environment whereby we can't afford to be passively consuming. And so there's a terminology by the name of prosumer, yeah, which means that you're a proactive agent in what you are consuming, you know what I'm saying? In what you are engaging in, you know? So I feel like that's very important. So I'd love to hear more from brothers and sisters on that, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, those are a couple questions to put out for the audience. Rap Raven, my brother.
Hello.
Before I get into the scenarios, yeah, as far as your expertise is concerned, yeah, I want to know from a technical standpoint, what are some of the major softwares, yeah, that we need to be able to master in order to develop effective, professional, and high quality Black media?
Well, there's a lot to say, but you can break, if you're talking about, say, for example, going down the social app route, you can break that down to 3 divisions. You've got A UX, which is the user experience designer. That's the person who's actually going to come up with the concept and try to cater what the users need. Then you've got the UI designer, which is the person who's going to design the interface, how it looks. And then you've got the actual developer, the person who's going to actually program together and make sure it functions and tests it. And those are your three main, like, team groups of when it comes to actually developing an actual product or app. Software-wise, if you want to be a UX designer, I mean, if you just want to come up with like a concept, you don't need to learn any software. A lot of people still do that on paper. They draw squares and shapes, and then they run tests and they look at it and they swap things around. But when you move into UI, which is the actual interface, there's a suite called the Adobe suite, and that's like the most famous suite. So within there, you have a software known as Photoshop, which a lot of people use. But now, when it comes to actual app designing, people are jumping to another software called Sketch, because Sketch is actually much more easier at doing like multiple pages and plotting out what they call like a user flow or a user journey or a wireframe. So Sketch, Adobe has another one called Adobe Adobe Experience or XD. So I would say really depends the angle you want to come in, but I would say if you want to be a designer, then you want to know the Adobe suite. But then what I'm saying as well is generally getting the youth and people into programming, like, you know, HTML5, Java, any kind of programming language you can. I would say this is very important, because whether you're making a website or you're making a app or whatever it might be, it all needs to be programmed. And I think that's a very important skill. I've always been pushing for that skill to be learned in the community.
All right, and finally, I'm gonna ask this question. Then we're gonna go into the scenarios, and we're gonna open up the lines here. But in terms of this issue of being able to own the platforms, manage the platforms, yeah. Maybe I'll start with Raven here. What are some of the limitations of independent black media being reliant on platforms that are not black owned?
Okay, well, you might, if you follow any kind of like pro-black speaker or woke speaker, you might realize that sometimes when they're on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, if they cover certain topics, so they respond to certain topics, their pages get shut down. Yeah, I mean, and so this is one of the issues where you always have to appease the gatekeepers of the apps or the softwares you're on. And this is a very big problem. So then you have to really kind of mind what you're saying. So I mean, and it's not like to say that a lot of what people are actually saying is that controversial, but there's certain words that might trigger certain like responses. This is the problem. So if by obviously creating your own platform and owning your own space, then these problems won't happen.
All right, cool. This is something I think about quite a lot. Isn't there an issue of ownership as well, Raven, in terms of the terms and conditions?
You talking about ownership on someone else's platform?
Yeah. So, like, for example, YouTube, don't they have ownership rights of whatever is?
Yeah. A lot of these softwares, how they cover themselves is by saying we own your actual footage. So once you put it up, it becomes a copyright of theirs. That protects them legally in the future and stuff. Right. But yeah, this is why there's many people who refuse to put their stuff on YouTube, because what it is it allows YouTube to use it how they want if they so choose. Right. And also marketing to you, like, you know, reading what you do to find out what you like. So when you receive adverts and this kind of stuff, it's big business.
All right, we're gonna have to go in on that conversation at another time. Like, I'm even thinking even more than that though, because the internet itself is regulated mostly by the American government, yeah. And this particular thing I've been thinking about for years, because I found out some years ago that China has heavy restrictions on the internet, and in fact they have their own equivalent of the internet apparently over there. I mean, so that's a mad thing. Like when you think about the world, when you think about the World Wide Web and the fact that in China, people can barely get the internet, but they've got their own, you know, network that is just China. Yeah. And that's because basically they understand the internet as a tool of war. and they don't want America hacking into the system. You know what I'm saying? So that's a very interesting dynamic. So the extent to which we're going to have to engage that as a people is a lot. You know what I mean? That's a different thing. Who controls the internet? You know, big question right there. But that's a question for another Insight, Kings and Queens. You don't know. All right, now I'm gonna just put up a few. Throw out a few topical issues in it, and I want the panel to just let me know how they think the issue has been represented and what a responsible pro-black independent media would do in terms of representing this issue in a way that serves our people. Let me start with the hot issue of the moment. In fact, there's a few hot issues of the moment, but let's start with the one that has been very hot over the last 2 days, and that is Brexit. Yeah, I don't know if people have really represented the black perspective or a black agenda in the midst of Brexit, but how would a black media represent the issue of Brexit in a way that serves black people? Before you answer that, think about that panel. Just think about that question right there. I want to big up Sister Melanated Goddess in the building. Done know. Greetings, my sister. Welcome. And thank you for joining us. Yo, I don't even know how to pronounce this one, but it's spelled M-S-T-E. I don't know if I said that one there, but you don't know, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if I've bigged up J Boogie already, just in case I have not, you know what I'm saying? Big up to J Boogie. And yeah, all the people in the chat. Once again, Bernard Easterling Bay, you don't know, my brother. Big up the Black Cinema Club, you know what I'm saying? Been promoting black media from day. Chucky Cartwright is in the building also. Big up. Do feel free to engage each other, ask questions. And at Got Kush TV, if you would like us to read out a comment or a question. And I am right now, sharing a link to a platform called Black Junction TV. Effectively, this is a black-owned YouTube, yeah? And one of the problems that we have in terms of having our own platforms is that because of the advancement of platforms like YouTube, sometimes the issue is not even that we don't have the platform, but that the monetization features and the other features that benefit the content creators hasn't developed as much, you know what I'm saying? But the more of us join the platforms and support them, the better they will be equipped to get to that level. So I use Black Junction personally, and we're going to be migrating a lot of our stuff over to Black Junction soon, so that we're going to be using both platforms, you know what I mean, and facilitating what Raven talked about earlier in terms of the migration process, you know what I mean, migration agenda for future reference. Yeah. All right, panel. The Brexit issue. Yeah. How does black media need to be represented in the Brexit issue to serve black people?
Can I answer?
You may, sis.
I would say, I mean, from before this whole deal or no deal business was going on, when we had the original referendum about whether or not we're going to leave or stay, the whole conversation around Brexit was so convoluted that nobody knew what was going on. And even now it's convoluted, but I feel like they're really taking the mick out of our intelligence, because all the stuff that they're discussing now with this deal or no deal Brexit thing is what should have been discussed when we were voting to leave or remain. Or what should have been picked at when we were voting to leave or remain. Now, as a black community, they're even addressing how we are going to be impacted. Half the legislation in this country is not even for us anyway. So all the things that they're worrying about as whether we have a deal or no deal, they're more interested in some Irish backstop than how the black community is going to be impacted. And we don't even know how we're going to be impacted. The white people, the Asians hardly know how they're going to be impacted, because they deliberately trying to confuse the whole situation. So I feel that for us as a black community, we need people who have some kind of knowledge and understanding of the political landscape in the EU and in the UK, to understand, who understands Brexit, can break it down so that it's understandable for us in general, regardless of how it's going to impact us, and then further along break it down in terms of how we will be impacted. Now, regardless of us being black, we're still British citizens, so we'll still be impacted like every other British citizen. However, we know as black people that there are other issues in this country that impact us, but that's not going to be on their agenda when they're thinking about the deal that they want to make with the EU. And that's the conversation we're having, and how we can then protect ourselves against that. Now, again, we're talking about social media and the digital age and the sharing. A video was shared a couple of weeks ago in relation to this Brexit situation that's happening now, and how financially we should be preparing ourselves for this and how anybody can financially prepare, whether you have a lot of money to invest or you have a little bit of money to invest. And that's the kind of conversation that us as a community should be having in terms of how we can make sure that we capitalize on or protect ourselves in this climate. But we're not having this conversation as a collective, and you don't know what you don't know. So we need a medium where we can have that discussion with people who are experts, people who have insider knowledge, people who have outsider knowledge, and bring that knowledge together and disseminate that amongst the community.
All right, cool. Give thanks for that, sis. Anybody else want to ask that one on the Brexit thing? How does black media need to be addressing Brexit?
Yeah, I want to jump on that quickly if I can. I'll say BBC is actually an interesting thing, actually. I wake up sometimes and early sometimes, and early in the morning on BBC One, they got this thing called BBC Business, where it's all the business news, and they talk about the markets and all that sort of stuff. Then afterwards, it's BBC Breakfast. Then throughout the day, you have all the different BBC news channels and stuff. And if you think about it, we all pay, I'm not sure how much it is, I'm not sure if everybody pays it, but you know, you have to pay about £108 a year or something like that for your TV license. Okay. And from that money there, across the country, they're able to do this. So I think that actually, when you think about what the BBC does on the scale of pushing Britain and British power in other countries and the image of Britain and the propaganda tool that is, I think possibly is something you could think about in our community in terms of, you know, how we could create community-based media which we all fund and which actually will push and push the agenda on our behalf. And that will come down to the reality of when it comes to reporting on something like Brexit, because what BBC have is political correspondence, and what the correspondent's job is to do is to actually analyse what's going on. So like when the sister said, all the stuff they're talking about now within Brexit, they should have been saying that beforehand in the run-up during the referendum. To be fair, the correspondents have a sort of a duty to really not only ask those questions, but to also break it down to the viewers, and so they understand all the dynamics and all the difference. So if you had black correspondents who were actually focused on this, because they were talking about all Ireland and the effects for Ireland before the election, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? But there was hardly anyone talking about the effects on the African Caribbean community, unless they were trying to tell us some joke about, you know, we're going to re-establish links with the Commonwealth again. Do you know what I mean? And it was very, like, even they were able to get away with saying lines like that, and nobody was pressing them or questioning them about exactly what they meant by that and what they're going to do, which countries in the Commonwealth. Whereas if we have our correspondents in the room, if we had our own journalists on the case, you know, these questions will get asked, ideally. Do you know what I mean? Especially if our correspondents are working for our owned media rather than, you know, for somebody else's.
All right. I'm not sure if everyone has something to contribute there, but I'm gonna hold off on that because I want to go on to the next one for the sake of time, so we can go and open up the lines here. And another hot button issue, probably the most hot button issue for the year, has been this R. Kelly situation. Yeah. How does the panel feel that this issue has been represented through black channels, black media? And what would a black media platform need to do? How would we address the situation with R. Kelly in a way that best serves our community?
Very good question. Very good question. I think I mean I'm not there to be like a conspiracy kind of guy. First of all, we always have to start by any crimes that's been committed, there must be justice for the victims.
Yes,
so this has to be the case in the community. But I do think sometimes, maybe not this time, but it could be this time, usually black celebrities that I've noticed, their sins get really pushed to the front. At the same time, there are sins from other medias from different communities. Sorry, other media personalities from different media from different communities, and their kind of shortcomings is usually masked by what seems to be presented now. So with it, I haven't actually seen this R. Kelly documentary yet. I'm going to watch it soon.
Yes.
But I noticed as this was being pushed, a lot of I forgot what was that brother's name, the guy the European guy who's also in a scandal at the same time. He owns what's his name? Come on,
the one
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
I think some of his cases might have been thrown out. So, you know, do you see what I'm saying? So, at the same time, that it's not getting the same media coverage, and this is the issue I have. Also with the Cosby thing as well, it doesn't seem to be like that. It seems to be like I don't know, not scapegoating. Scapegoating would be the wrong word, but it's almost like I don't know. It doesn't seem to be balanced, if that makes sense. And I said, wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong.
Yes, yes.
But everyone has to be penalized at the same kind of rate.
All right,
and I
cool.
feel that with a black media, we might be able to do that much more better.
Okay, cool. Anybody else on the panel?
I think personally, if black media was to address this R. Kelly situation, they wouldn't be, because it's old news. I feel like the R. Kelly thing, we know about R. Kelly for how long? Since I was in school. What more can we say about it that hasn't already been said, that hasn't already been thought? The fact that this documentary came out now, the timing, I just don't understand the timing of it. It could have been done when it was more relevant, when he was in the media for the same thing 10, 15 years ago. I mean, in terms of the sexual abuse and sexual violation of women, that will get this situation with R. Kelly could open up dialogue for that, in terms of how black women are not taken as seriously, or the conviction rates, or for black victims are less high than white victims. We can start talking about those kind of things, but what is happening is the opposite. In fact, some people are saying, oh, is it because it's black women, white people don't care? But like I said, this is old news. This happens. We've known about this for a long time ago. So now we're having this selective outrage again about something that we already knew about, because we've watched it again. I don't see how we can, if we was going to address the issue with R. Kelly, it would have been addressed by our community already. And I'm sure it has been when we saw the documentary when he peed on the teenage girl. How many years ago that was? Do you know what I mean? I feel like we have far more. That documentary for me was more entertainment than informative information, because we read about it, and I feel that we have more important things to focus on, our energy on, than to go over what R. Kelly's done, unless it's going to bring him to justice, unless it's going to improve the conviction rates of victims of sexual abuse of black women. Then what are we complaining about? We're just having a moan, so we have something to moan about, and then the following week we're going to move on to the next piece of distraction information. But that's just my view on it.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's old news now. Again, it's a week ago. We're moving on.
I hear that. You raise an interesting point, in terms of the purpose of flooding the media with it at this moment in time. What purpose is it serving? Is it serving the purpose of bringing him to justice or not? And if it's not serving that purpose, what purpose is it serving? I'm going to throw a 2 pence in here, and I'm not going to throw too much in, because the next insight, I'm going to give you a sneak preview, Kings and Queens. The next insight in a few weeks' time is going to be on this particular situation. But I think that in terms of addressing it as a community media, if we were really addressing it, we would less be addressing R. Kelly specifically, and we would more be addressing the issue and how it affects our community in general. And I haven't seen a whole heap of that. I've seen a lot of back and forth about who's supporting R. Kelly and who's not supporting R. Kelly, and within that, people mention supporting the victims, but it doesn't seem to be facilitating a conversation as to the extent to which this is plaguing our community, and the extent to which we are or are not addressing it, except for saying the blanket statement that black people don't address these things. So for me, one of the things that a black media would do in terms of addressing this issue is look for people in the community that are addressing these things. There are services that assist black women who are victims of domestic violence and abuse, for example. I learned some years ago.
Yo, can I jump in there quickly and plug my mother's thing? It's called Wild. If you get a chance, check out Wild International. It's called Women into Literature, Development and Empowerment. And it is specifically for women who have gone through domestic violence and issues relating to that directly. So, my mother's got many years of experience in that. She's got an event coming up on International Women's Day, so I'll promote that a bit more. But so I just wanted to jump in there quickly because you were talking about that. And I know
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. So for me, a responsible black media serving the community would highlight things like what Scattered Minds just said even more. Do you know what I'm saying? Look at we say that we don't address it. But then saying that on social media is not going to assist us in addressing it any more than it's being addressed. what we can do is demonstrate people that are addressing it, and maybe we'll create an archetype, give people examples of how to address issues like these. And I think that's what a black media can do.
Exactly, and I think it would be an opportunity to raise awareness of the fact that black women who do experience those kind of things are less likely to be believed when they go to the police, and police treat them very in a less favorable way than if it was a white woman presenting with the same crime committed against them. The police treat them completely differently, and that's facts. And those are issues that, you know, you could use the opportunity to shed light on, and as a community be angry about that, as opposed to being angry about things that are not really important per se.
Yes, sis. All right, we've got we're gonna open up the lines now, kings and queens. Before I share the link, I'm gonna share the link in the chat. If you want to join the conversation for the next hour or so, you will be able to do so. There are rules, however, yeah, because it's Got Kush TV, we must maintain a certain level of quality control. So when you enter the chat, I'm gonna ask you to enter the chat with your mic muted, yeah. And please try not to speak over anybody, and I will come to you individually, okay? So please, yeah, we're not gonna have this like a random chat. You can come on to make a comment or a contribution, or you can come on just to ask a question. Because if we're probably gonna wanna, depending on the demand, yeah, we're gonna get in as much people as possible. So, you know, please be mindful of the fact that you may be asked to leave the chat to give somebody else space to come on, because the facility only has space for a certain number of people. Okay, so I share the link, which I will be doing in a second. Feel free to share the Hangout link with others who you may think want to engage in the conversation. That is all blessed. But please share with them the rules, yeah? Please come on with your mic muted, and please don't just jump in. Please wait until I come to you so that we can facilitate an orderly conversation, okay? So I appreciate your cooperation in advance, and I'm going to share the link right now. So please feel free to come through. If you don't want to come through on the Hangouts, feel free, yeah, to ask a question in the chat at Got Kush TV, yeah. And if you want to leave a longer comment, you can actually leave a longer comment under the video, yeah, in the comment section. You can do that as well, because you got limited, you know, characters in the chat. But if you want to leave a longer comment, feel free to comment in the comment section below the video. But please, if you want me to see your comment, please at Got Kush TV, yeah, it will make sure that I see it. Or you can actually leave a donation, click the super chat button. You know what I'm saying, that little thing that's like a $sign in the bottom of the chat, yeah, if you want to actually donate to Got Kush, and that will highlight your comment even more, and we'll read it out. But I have seen this from Black Cinema Club, so I will read it out. Unfortunately, if we follow the trend amongst the black community, inclusive of its independent and commercial media, we've generally been the executioner as well, rather than fight against the narrative. Okay, I get what the brother is saying. You know, it's a thing that I've seen as well. I can see where you're coming from with that, in the sense of when we do get the platform, sometimes we reinforce the same old stereotypes of the indoctrination that we've received, rather than create something new. And you know what? Now that you said that, yeah, I'm gonna read something. Yeah, while the people that want to join the conversation are coming in, I'm gonna read something from brother Amos Wilson. Yeah, I'm gonna read something from brother Amos Wilson in his great and illuminating book Blueprint for Black Power. You know what I mean? In the chapter, or the subchapter, Media and the Ideology Process. Yeah, bear with me, kings and queens. You know what I'm saying? And while you're coming into the chat, I'm just gonna read this out and get some thoughts on what I'm about to read. Yeah, he says, the corporate and elite owned and controlled media function to create a climate of opinion, to shape social perception by framing the reality and information, which basically shapes the formation and expression of opinions. Yeah, so he's saying that they want to shape the opinions, and they present the information that also shapes the opinions. Yeah, they do this mainly through setting the issues agenda. That is, by controlling the domain of discourse. For example, determining what is worthy of public exposure and discussion. They choose what issues and information are to be emphasized, to be ignored, or suppressed. Consequently, they create visibility and legitimacy for certain persons and groups and opinions, and thereby impose limits on public knowledge, interest, discourse, understanding, behavioral orientation, and capabilities. Yeah, and I hope ones got that. Feel free to comment on that particular quotation right there when you come in. And I see my brother MA is the first off the mark. Greetings, my brother. Feel free to unmute your mic. Brother MA, you there? Okay, brother MA, can't hear you at the moment, my bro. So I don't know if you can sort something out. But yeah, if you're there and you can hear me, but we can't hear you, feel free to leave something in the back chat, in the group chat, in the back end, and we'll facilitate something with you. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if anybody's got any thoughts coming out of that particular quote on the panel.
I think it's spot on. It kind of touches on what I was saying earlier about how, as well as education, the educational system, media plays a huge part in socialization, shaping public perception, shaping how you see the world, how you see yourselves, and how you function, operate within your society. That's exactly how I feel about media and the educational system, which is why I also think it's so important that we create media content and our own educational curriculum for starting from toddlers, because they start it from their little, when they put on Peppa Pig, they're socializing your child how to behave, how to think, and how they view the world. And we don't have anything for ourselves to shape our community according to our own ideals.
Anybody else? MA, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here.
All right, cool. Yeah, all right, let me get you in there, my brother. Welcome and thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to host you, my brother. Yeah, you shared a beautiful comment earlier. Even though you're cross off the panel, you know what I'm saying, we still love you same. You know what I mean? But yeah, so go ahead. What's your contribution?
What I was trying to say is that I think as long as we look, how long has TV been around? I don't really know how long it's been around for, but most of us have grown up with TV. Well, our generation definitely have grown up with TV right there. Do you know what I mean? We've never really been educated on what a TV is, how to watch it. I think you mentioned something a little while ago. I'm not sure what the word is that you used, but I'm more talk about brainwaves. And of course, you have the alpha brainwave, which is, I think, my understanding is that's the frequency your brain operates at when you start watching a program where many of your faculties switch off and you become a passive consumer. You know, I'm like you. I'm a media teacher as well. So is Kasu, and it's funny because I won't call myself a filmmaker because it's been a long time, but as a filmmaker, I don't watch TV. I haven't had a TV for 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a mad thing. And also the reason why I haven't made anything is because my approach to making content will definitely change, and it has changed, and my perspective has changed to the point where I've even doubted whether I want to make content in the same way or at all, actually. And I just think that there's a lot of not just the Black community, by the way. I think the people all over the world need to be re-educated, or actually just educated, because there was no education to begin with on how to use media. There might be some media as well from an African perspective that the question needs to be asked: should we be consuming that media at all? You know, and the same thing.
Give me an example of what you're saying there, of something that we should question in that kind of way.
Okay, there's a brother I know, Paul Morris. He's a theatre director. He used to be an actor. He removed himself from that field of work because he felt it was. In fact, I don't want to speak for him, but my understanding was that he started to recognize how you know, the screen was a spiritually corrupting facility, if that makes sense. Kind of like, it's like the mirror. You know, some cultures, they don't deal with mirrors. They also don't deal with photographs. If you photograph them, it's a big problem. And I just think that there's a lot to be learned. I'm not saying whether people from our community should be consuming one type of media or another. I'm just saying that the question needs to be asked, and the research needs to be done, and the conversations need to be had that may take a long time, but it will actually help us to sculpt the way we approach media, period. Because at the moment, I think that we're kind of running blind, where they're replicating media platforms, and we're replicating those platforms on the basis of the way we know how to watch and consume media. So we're never it's gonna be very hard for us to step outside that box, and that's why you continually see certain platforms replicating what they've already seen and maybe putting a little tinge to it that has a cultural significance, but not really redefining the medium, the genre, or other criteria.
Interesting. Correct if I'm wrong, but what it sounds like you're saying is that in terms of looking at actual nature of the technology that we're using to create it, is that where you're going with it?
Yeah, definitely. I think you know, if you were to, I don't know, I mean, I'm not a historian of any kind, but if there were particular nations on the African continent, say 70 years, 50, 60, 70 years ago, upon, you know, being given a TV or whatever, they would have asked themselves some very serious questions about how they approach this thing. We weren't given the opportunity to ask these questions. Do you understand? We were born into the answers already. So we have to reverse engineer our way to a better understanding of the things that we use. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, no, it does. Yeah, I'm conscious of it now because I've got a son, and I've read some stuff in terms of the impact of screens on young children, and how screens affect children. You know, so it is a serious question. You've kind of taken us somewhere else.
No, I didn't want to. I was just answering your question, but I'm happy.
It's fine. It's fine to do so. You know what I mean? It is fine to do so. Yeah, but so give thanks for that. Right, my brother, oh, I did see him. He seems to have gone. Raz is gone. All right, Buddha Bing is in the chat. Buddha Bing, are you with us?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what? I've got to do this. I've got to kind of speak up for the voice, you know. I done some work for them back in the day. So the situation was this. The owner, Mr. McLean, was very ill at the time, and they were making moves to send out email letters and stuff like that. Clearly, the advancements in technology weren't present at that day, but they were looking to do things like email letters and stuff like that. Unfortunately, when he passed away, his wife sold the voice to the Gleaner, and it was no longer under the control of British organisations. So that was kind of the downfall of the voice. The other thing I want to mention is this. I used to run a radio station as well, and if I could be so bold as to maybe plug a radio station I'm currently collaborating with, that would be good, but I'll let you decide. So when you're working on the airways, you're under a code of conduct that is given to you by Ofcom. So you're very limited on what you can and can't say, and each station has a station controller that will tell you what you can broadcast and what you can't broadcast. Thankfully, that's not on the internet, so it's a different medium altogether. You're not constricted, should I say, by Ofcom. So you can more or less get away with what you want online. So my suggestion would be, moving forward, that if you want to have some sort of a voice, make that voice be a digital one.
For that, my brother, for the speaking, I appreciate that. Anybody want to respond to that? Anybody on the panel want to respond to that? More specifically, Raven, Tahaka, or Yemaya?
Yeah, I think that's exactly. Sorry, can you hear me? No, I think that's similar to what I was saying earlier in terms of the gatekeepers and the need to have gatekeepers, or the fact that gatekeepers are no longer out there in the on the internet, and the fact that now that we have these new digital platforms, we can actually bypass a lot of those old gatekeepers like the station controllers and so on, and you can make your programs or your own shows. And I think it's just about trying to promote these platforms and get more of our community using them, and actually get them to adopt a lot of this technology early from across the board and all generations, all ages, actually. Because I think we've banned the television a long time ago in our community, but I think with the online thing, it's going to take a little bit of time to get like a lot of like high viewership here in the UK or with the Black UK community. But I think keep pushing, it'll come.
I think if we collaborated more, we'd have better viewership. But we're not collaborating. We're doing things in pockets, setting up this here and there. We're all doing the same thing but different. And if we was to collaborate and still, you know, have our content, what our content is, then we'll attract a wider audience and also have something for each of those pockets of audience's interests. Okay. And that will have more clout because we are all tuning into a single medium to then disseminate the information and the entertainment and the knowledge and whatever else we want to put out there under one platform. And then people who wouldn't necessarily want to tune into something that's conscious might so happen to be watching that channel and have a listening to it and think, oh, I've learned something. And we'll have somebody who's not interested in that kind of content and consuming that kind of information and so on and so forth. I feel like we've got, for example, we've got back chat, and then we've got, you know, this channel and that channel doing all these different things separately, but they're the same thing and they all are popular and successful and they have audiences. We could bring those audiences together under one TV network that's Black owned.
That's an interesting point right there, sis, and I think it's one that we're gonna have to expand upon, yeah, at some point. I do hear what you're saying fully. Anybody else got a contribution before I bring in E Black? No, sorry, Raz first. I think Raz left first, and then I'm gonna bring in E Black. So Raz, you're up on deck. Stay tuned. I just want to see if anybody else wants to respond to what Buddha has said. All right, we'll leave it there. What's it called? Feel free to click that link, Kings and Queens, and come into the conversation. We ask you once again, if you are going to come into the conversation, to please mute your mics. Keep your mic muted until I come to you. It is for me to inform you also that in a few months, Kings and Queens, Got Kush TV will be dropping the the pilot episode of one of our flagship shows, which is our group show, our Black Group Economic Show. We pride ourselves on developing solution-orientated content for the Black community. So we don't just want to be, retelling the stories of woes, of problems. We really want to provide solution-oriented content, and we released a trailer some time ago, and it really did the rounds. And the pilot is more or less done, Kings and Queens. It's ready for you. So we're going to be dropping that in a few months and producing this show, periodically from then on. So we've got a few shows coming, but one of them is the Black Group Economic Show. And I'm mentioning this now because Sister Yemaya has just said that come from Colombia, by raising our community's awareness and understanding of group economics, we'll be able to operationalize it to a greater degree. So I'm sharing that link for the group economics trailer, in the chat right about now. Do check it out, Kings and Queens. And once again, feel free to subscribe to Got Kush TV, hit the bell for notifications and everything there, and lick up the like button, smash it up. Just mash up the keyboard, hit the button, Queens. All right, Brother Raz, you're live on Got Kush TV. Greetings, welcome, and thank you for joining us. What's your contribution, comment, question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say big up to you, big up to the show. On the subject of having a media platform, how do you think we can get, because what I've observed for the community, like Yamaya said, there is a there's a lot of people doing media, but how do we get this into like a organization or an institution where like the journalist institution in the UK, where all of these black media personalities are able to meet up and discuss, and how do we organize that?
Well, what do you have any thoughts on that, Rance? How we would do it?
Nah, I've come with a question, bro.
No problem. All right, anybody from my panel, brother Tahaka, sister Yemaya, brother Rat Raven, want to answer that question?
I would say influence. It's just like when you work in marketing, we all know that if someone who has high prestige or is famous for the minute is drinking your drink or wearing your shoes, then it's more likely a lot of people are going to do it. So I think trying to get black personalities in line with Black Batman building, or in line with like pro-black issues and stuff, this is one way. So if the most famous singer at the moment has a channel on your platform, or has a show on your platform, or there's a special documentary made about that person, then them promoting it or them being on it is one way of getting all the attention to focus on it. That in a nutshell, that's how marketing works.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Having said that, I do want to big up my big brother, Ankh Aku, who is a part of the Got Kush TV team and is a marketing master, kings and queens. Check out bettermarketingmastery.com. Our brother has assisted us greatly in developing a good marketing plan, which we are, in the process of actualizing, and it is yielding benefits, kings and queens. I can confirm that. So we give thanks. Right, the people them are failing to Got Kush TV, but I am seeing a few comments that I am going to read out. If you want to guarantee that I'll read out your comments, there's two ways to do that. One of which is to Got Kush TV. The other of which is to donate by hitting that super chat button. And them thing there. All right. So we're gonna go to Black Cinema Club. What you've read from Amos Wilson's book is spot on. If we take the example of Brexit, the media, including its influencers, sold us their propaganda in order to gain back so-called sovereignty. Bigging up Cooler Man, who says black people had BET channel, but like always with black people, when it comes to money, they chose to sell it instead of what the other communities do, which is keep it in the family. Interesting point. Rich Porter says, real Cooler Man, real talk. Black people are quick to sell their souls for paper. And he was also bigging up Rap Raven for his comment. And Black Cinema Club also says, agreed with Yemaya, very collaborating as long as there is synergy in the messages and the subject matters focused on. That's an interesting point, I did think about that when Sister Yah was speaking, in the sense of the fact that because Got Kush, like we kind of pull it out, we say we are your #1 black conscious platform, in the UK. I'm saying, and world out there. But is there a need for synergy? So like that, the semi-conscious or the not so woke or the semi-woke, or the people, or even the sisters that engage in some trash TV here and there. I'm saying? I know a lot of you do exist. You read Garvey and watch Love and Hip Hop. I'm saying? I know a lot of you do exist.
That's my point. And from a business perspective, if you're thinking about how much money there is in the black community, we have a lot of money, but there's not a lot of us. So if you want to have a sustainable business model, we need to make sure that we're getting money from as much people as possible. So we're already saying we're a black channel, so we're making black content targeted at black people. We only what percentage of the country? How much income are you going to generate from that? Are you going to limit yourself even further from a business perspective by saying, okay, but not the black people that watch trash TV, only black people that want to talk about pro-black stuff? That's limiting your pool of consumer and of your audiences even further. Now, what I said earlier was, if you was to open up your content to include people that have different interests and wider interests, you could also overlap those people that was once watching Trust TV might, you know, decide to tune into the InSight one day and learn about Marcus Garvey, and that person who's watching Trust TV is now watching the InSight, and vice versa. I feel like that my perspective on the collaboration is strictly from a business and marketing perspective, in terms of how are you going to be sustainable and profitable as a channel in a country where you are a minority, in a country where your average income is less than whatever, we're not earning as much money to even invest in or put back into the company. We got to think about ways to be sustainable, to be profitable, and to maximize your coverage and your leverage in the audience that we have. That's why I say that. So in terms of synergy, the InSight show would be for that. The other show, Black Economics, would be for that. And then you'll have something for music, and you have something for your trash TV or your escapism. As human beings, we're not always serious. We don't always have to be serious. That's just my opinion. It's not every day I'm going to be serious and I'm going to read a textbook from front to back. Sometimes I want to watch Netflix. Why can't we have a media platform that can cater to me the times when I want to watch Netflix and the times when I want to read a textbook back to front? I think we limit ourselves and we separate ourselves by saying, well, you watch trash TV, so therefore you can't come into my clique. And Marcus Garvey's, I've read all of Marcus Garvey's books. I would never watch trash TV. Me and you ain't in synergy. We can't flex. I think that we separate ourselves, and that's why we can't. That's why we're not working. That's why it's not working, and that's my personal view.
So
all right,
sister,
Yemaya vibration, kings and queens. And if you know anything about Yemaya, you know that all of us just got school covered, nice and easy. You know what I'm saying? So that's a beautiful vibration there, kings and queens. The sister is definitely carrying the spirit of our great deity. We wanted to share right about now. My co-director, is in synergy with me right about now. I'm sharing a link in the chat, kings and queens, which is playlist of our UK Fire 32, and that is one of our flagship shows. That is our music-oriented flagship show, whereby we have our artists. It's a platform for our artists, young artists with a message in their music and spit their bars, freestyle kings, you know what I mean? We understand that there's a deficit of message music in our community, and there's also we understand from speaking to our artists, our artists that have message in their music, that a lot of the platforms that cater to our styles of music, they find it very difficult to push their message through. And so in terms of manifesting the balance, getting that balance correct, what we're doing is that we've developed this platform called UK Fire 32 to basically showcase, you know what I'm saying, a platform dedicated to artists that have a specific kind of message, so that we can balance it out with whatever else is going on out there, you know what I mean? So I do love that. Sister 9 Aoife is saying yes, sis, you know what I'm saying, with a big, strong arm, you know what I mean, them thing there. Sister 9 Aoife's feeling that. Big up respect Fire Bingy, the fire ones, the fire lions, you know what I mean? And if you know respect Fire Bingy, it's all about the fire lion vibration. So the house, my gosh, content over everything is in the chat, kings and queens. We're gonna come to you in a sec. For those who are not aware of the rules, please be muted until we come to you, because this is Got Kush TV, and we do try to maintain a certain level of order and quality control. All right, so check out the link to UK Fire 32, kings and queens, and that because we do aim to develop varied content. We're starting from where we are, we're starting from where we are, and we make no apology for that, because we have to start from where we are and build from there. And we do want to get dramas and short films and big films and them kind of things. They're coming through Got Kush TV. But this is where we are at the moment. And so we want you to support where we are at the moment and help us to grow to what we need to be. And we will continue to serve you, kings and queens. All right. I want to get to whoever else is on the panel. Right. It's going to be in this order. I believe the Black Telek is in. I'm saying, I think he got in just before the man himself, content over everything. So we're going to go to brother E Black first. He's been patiently waiting. Greetings, my brother.
Bless up to everyone on the panel. in the comments. Yeah, man. Like, boy, I just jumped on a like, you know, on an open thing, based on what we're talking about. But what the sister just talked about, a moment ago about like the integration of intellectual shows. For me, that one there, I'm not really too into that. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, yeah, man, it should be separate. Cause more time, it's gonna be the heavyweight that's gonna drag people down than the people who are on the up and up that's gonna elevate the heavy people. You get me?
All right, my brother. Interesting point right there. Interesting point. I'm kind of feeling like there's not. We can do both. Because Sister Yemaya's strategy here is one that is needed in the sense of the fact that we have a problem of what they call tipping point, yeah, whereby the black conscious message, yeah, and this is one of the things that Got Kush TV is trying to do in terms of getting through to a wider audience, yeah. But sometimes the black conscious message seems to get through to those who are already thinking black conscious or semi-black conscious and not necessarily reach the masses, because the masses are watching whatever else out there. So if we're able to penetrate the mass television network and them kind of things there with our content, does it work? And it's one of the ways to do that, to collaborate with those brothers and sisters who are producing that kind of content. And it may not be, yeah, I mean, Sister Yemaya said that we, you know, just collaborate and build a one platform. But there are nuances in between that. It may be that we collaborate on a one project, yeah, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, that we can, you know, we can do, or, you know what I mean, a one event, or, you know, a one promotional strategy that we promote both shows together with that platform. Do you know what I'm saying? But maybe it's the fact that we need to develop a power base for the content that we're creating, so that we can certify that when we go to them, that there's an audience for this, so that we're meeting as equals. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're not a superior brand to man. You get me? Like, we're on the equal playing field, and we're gonna bring our audiences together. Maybe that's it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm gonna come back to the panel on that in a second, but I do want to move through very quickly so that I'm not ignoring the brothers and sisters on here. I do want to hear more sisters though, kings and queens. My sister Kush from Birmingham was unable to make the panel this evening, and so we're deficit, yeah, some feminine energy. And you know, as powerful and as strong as Sister Yemaya is, carrying such a powerful name as Yemaya, I'm sure she would like to be accompanied by some complementary female energy. So calling out the sisters, them who are locked on right about now, to join the chat. We do want to hear some more feminine energy, but before we get to that, let me brother Isa, the great black intellect, intellectual Shia. I hear me. You there, my brother?
Peace and love to the panel and all the viewers. Peace and love. Yes. Brilliant show, brother. Big up, fam.
The subject is the power of black media. So this is not the day to give me that work, you know. That's why you know that. You know?
No, I know that, bro. No.
I'm saying with you. I'm saying you. Go ahead.
Yeah, from what I gathered of what the sister was saying and the brothers, you know, comment after that. My view, if the sister was saying something about a merger, from my perspective and my reflection as how we got where we are, is exactly what the sister was saying. In that they didn't really have a movement, it seems, at first as big as it's become now. For instance, the gay movement, for instance, coffee shops that we've got, Costa and all of these different things. A lot of the things that we have in society that have become a norm, even down to dating, the way we date, came through things like Friends and soap operas and various things that was part of mainstream media. Even, you know, people's beliefs in things like UFOs. I know people might be thinking I'm going off the topic, but I'm saying certain movies, certain soap operas, certain things that are commonly seen on mainstream TV that connect to the masses are how people would gradually change from whatever view they had before to where they are now. So I'm saying, for me, there would be no problem. In fact, I would think it would be something we would be deficient in if we did not take advantage of any kind of mass media usage, you know, of presenting whatever it is we're trying to do in regards to pro-black and positive black media, etc.
All right, give thanks for that, Isa. Do you know, let me ask a question here, because for example, the reason why we're doing this show is a complimentary show to the InSight. And once again, kings and queens, I just want to remind you that you can check the description box, yeah, below the video, to see the teaser, the trailer for the next episode of the InSight. And you can also visit the page that it will be streamed on and set a reminder, subscribe, and all them kind of things there. But the format of that show kind of relates to exactly what Brother MA was saying earlier, in terms of retraining the people their mind on how to look at, break down, and relate to media. Yeah, it's a presentation style. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And there are a lot of if you look at YouTube and kind of things there's a lot of content like that at the moment. You know what I'm saying. But we're trying to bring it from a different kind of more in-depth perspective, a perspective that's not being reached. Yeah, but there's a term called soft power. Yeah, whereby the presentation style is not so presentationally, it's very dramatic. Yeah. So for example, Sister Yemaya spoke about dramas earlier, and creating a show whereby, you know, the subject is the lives of the people in the show, but we address the issues through the narrative, yeah, rather than you know, a format whereby it's obvious that I'm presenting a perspective or presenting information. And that's not to say that format is not valid. It is valid, yeah. But maybe the resources required, yeah, we haven't facilitated the resources required to do both of those things at the same time sufficiently yet. So whilst we're building, we just got to do one and build to the other. I don't know. My brother, content over everything. Yeah. Now, you there, content?
Hey, yo, fam, as air still. I was just on the phone though, still. I just heard you talking in the background. I heard you call my name, you get me?
Okay, all right. Well, when you're ready, just leave me a message in the back chat, and we'll talk in it. You come through and make a contribution, yeah?
Yeah, man, be ready in less than 2 minutes, you get me?
All right, cool. Well, for Kings and Queens, for those who may not be aware, Content Over Everything is one of the major media platforms in our community right about now. He is well known as the number one platform covering all of the happenings down there at Speaker's Corner, yeah. And so he's doing a fantastic job presenting a lot of the powerful information and conversations that are taking place. I encourage every single person watching this right about now, if you have not done so already, to go and check out Content Over Everything, yeah, and subscribe to that channel. Subscribe to Content Over Everything, Kings and Queens. It is a must. You know what I mean? And in saying that, I do want to say, yeah, that we have some good relationships with a number of other independent black media platforms out there. Won't go into all of their names now, but you will see in coming months, yeah, the network that Got Kush TV is developing, the group economics network that Got Kush TV is developing, and Content Over Everything is definitely one of our sister and brother platforms, Kings and Queens. So go check him out. Right, Content, when you're ready, just let me know, and we'll go forward. But yeah, Kings and Queens, this is the InSight Live, the power of black media. Our original panel, yeah, today consisted of Brother Rap Raven, all right, media extraordinaire, Brother Scattered Minds, aka Tahaka, you know what I mean, who is a man of many talents, well educated in the political sphere, and has an experience in media and marketing, and Sister Yema Ya, who is part of the Got Kush TV family. You're going to see and hear her voice a whole lot more, Kings and Queens. Has experience in addressing issues to do with counseling victims of abuse in our community, and is you know, also studying the field of marketing, Kings and Queens. And so this is why they were asked to be on this panel. And now this is the opportunity for you to interact. We're going to go for maybe another 20 minutes or so, all right? So get in where you fit in. The link is in the description, so in the chat. So if you want to get in, ask a question, make a comment, you know what I mean, get in now, Kings and Queens, or forever hold your peace. Get in now, all right? We want to tell you to subscribe one more time. Get in there. Subscribe to Got Kush TV and support the team. Content Over Everything, you with us? All right, he's not quite ready. I'm going to just open it up to anybody on the panel who wants to make a contribution as to anything that has been said in the last 5-10 minutes.
Can you clarify again, just in case someone else is tuning in recently like I did, what the basic topic was, and if what my answer was on point? Or
no, it's fine. So basically a pilot edition of the InSight, which dealt with the power of black media. But we're just having a conversation kind of coming out of that conversation, that presentation right there, in terms of how independent black media in general and Got Kush TV in particular can best serve our community. And in saying that, in the last 20 minutes here, brothers and sisters in the chat, I'd like to know, what things, what subjects you would like to see me tackle in the InSight in the coming months, kings and queens. You want to see an insight on a particular subject? You want me to break it down, go in? Let me know, comment in the chat right about now at Got Kush TV. I want to see an insight show on aliens, or I want to see an insight show on economics, or I want to see an insight show on the black comic book industry, or the black fashion industry, or domestic violence in the black community, or black male, female, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever you want to see an insight show on, let me know, and we will endeavor to do that for you. You know what I mean? You want to see an insight show on how UK grime has impacted US hip hop? Let me know. We'll try and break it down. Let me know. You want to see an insight show on whatever subject? Put it in the thing. But make sure you're at Got Kush TV so I can see it properly. We got the life and times of the multimedia manager, and I do believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that's brother Aisha. Yeah, if I'm correct, let me know, brother. And if I'm incorrect, then just stay quiet and I know that I'm incorrect. But yeah, the man is check out that channel as well, kings and queens. Multimedia manager. Are you no longer a multimedia assassin, bro? Well, going for that. In a magazine that is correct, is brother Aisha. Okay, I thought man was an assassin. Man's gone from assassin to manager. Or was it extraordinary? I can't remember. But anyway, in a magazine that is viable, there has to be balance between advertorial, editorial, and informational and entertainment pieces. We must find balance and move forward together. Definitely. You know what I mean? And we're trying to strike that balance on Got Kush TV. You know, all of our content is educational in some way, shape, or form. But we don't just want to keep it like the InSight. We couldn't do a platform, a whole platform just based upon shows like the InSight or based upon shows like Group Economics. We got to do the UK Fire, and there are other shows. There are more conversational dialogue shows coming as well, kings and queens. And we're going to keep that under wraps. If you've watched the Got Kush TV 2.0 video, you know what some of what's coming. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. All right. Yeah, give thanks for that. Yeah, you ready, content?
Yeah. When you're ready, still.
All right, bless up. Just want to say, brother MA says the InSight. I want to see a show on spirituality and the media. Woo! What a thing. All right. We can see what we can do about that. Once again, if you want to see an InSight show on a particular subject, do let me know. Just at Got Kush TV and say, Shakara, I want to see an insight on this particular subject. Yeah. On all of the insights, we encourage you to leave your comments. The insight is not for Shakara to share his insights. It's for us to share our insights. So I put a perspective out there and invite you to share your perspective. And every week we want to we send out a free t-shirt, yeah, to our favorite comment or our favorite few comments, depending. You know what I'm saying, them thing there. But yeah, the whole insight is for us to share our insights with each other. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just present the perspective and I get you to either agree with me, disagree with me, cuss me out, you know what I mean, praise me, tell me some chat foolishness or whatever. It's all good, kings and queens, as long as we're keeping the conversation going. Right, my brother Content.
Yo, fam.
Yeah, I've been bigging you up, kings and queens, and making sure that people them know who you are and what you're dealing with. So we want to thank you for being one of our key media platforms out there right about now. You're doing fantastic work. You get me? So what's your contribution for the proceedings?
Yeah, well, man, just as I came on the panel is when man joined in, you know, fam. So I was listening to the InSight suggestions and all them things. That I was thinking, right, I want to see man talk about the glorification of, I don't know, like, what's man gonna call it, gangsterism or bad mindism in the music and amongst the youths, them, you get me? Or it's everyone really still, but yeah, I want to talk about that, you get me? That's what I'm into still. Yeah.
All right. You know what? There's more to be said on that, yeah. 21st, yeah, of January, the next InSight show will be dropping. That's next week, Monday. And the subject is Drill Minister and Dr. Kayleigh Andrews versus Winston Churchill and the British Parliament. it's kind of going into the drill, the subject of drill, yeah, and how and conversations around that. Kings and Queens, click link in the description, one of the links in the description. You'll find it, yeah, to the teaser for episode 2 of the InSight. You can look at it now. And the stream page is also live, but it will be premiering next week, Monday, the 21st of January, Kings and Queens, all right? So check that out right there. Check it out, yeah? You can watch the teaser right after this, yeah? And what was that it content? Did you have more to contribute?
What you saying, that drill minister, that's the brother that you supposed to take all of the people in the House of Commons phrases and put it into a rhythm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
About bare violence and keeping up bare F3, but you just quoting them back. You get me? Yeah.
Same brother. So we broke down some of what he did there and put some other stuff in there compared to certain things. So I hope brothers and sisters get something from that particular insight right there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I hear you still. I think you meant to kind of touch on it. It wasn't at our corner still. It was just, I think it was right before our corner when man was doing the drill. Man was discussing drill and all of them things there still.
Yeah.
I think the man briefly touched on the glorification thing and how man can tell the same stories from a different perspective. I think Raven was saying like, in terms of how the family feels when one of the youth them drop out or something. You get me? How the mother feels and all them things there. Or imagine being the gunner or something when he gets picked up and used to lick down people. You know, there's bare ways to tell a story. Is what I took from that still. But when man glorify the thing, like the effect that it has is, I don't know, fam. Like I said, like when I was a youth, man used to listen to the music there, like regular. You get me? And the frame of mind where it used to put man in, used to make me just think of. Like, I used to just think in badness mode, you get me? Like, man used to just roll with nice regular, even when I didn't have no enemy, you get me?
Yeah.
Yeah, fam, I just used to put man in that frame of mind, you get me, sir? Yeah, fam, it's definitely something that man want to touch upon still. Not only that as well, but even addressing, like, internal issues. Like, because sometimes I feel like man have to tread on eggshells because man don't want to be called a coon or nothing like that.
Okay.
You get me? But at the same time, man have to be real and acknowledge when there's a problem, you get me? Yeah, fam. So man have to know how to go, like, find the best way of how to deal with it still. Cause man, like, ignoring it just because man don't want to get the backlash and all them things there. I don't think it's beneficial. You get me?
Yeah. All right. One I can say at this point, when you check out the Got Kush TV 2.0 trailer, you will see that one of the shows that we're developing is a show called Decipher, which is just basically conversation. We're gonna have a group conversation on all kind of different issues, yeah, from that deep political to economic to the mundane. We'll have a conversation on whatever the trash TV topic is, or the sexual whatever politics of the black community or whatever. All of these conversations, yeah, we want to have and facilitate. And so even if we're not able to do a full like drama on the subject right about now, we're going to host a conversation on it. And hopefully that will influence or be able to lead to us being able to produce the kind of dramas that we want in the future. You know, we have to think in terms of process because we're not going to get everything that we want right about now. Right, Kings and Queens, we're going to wrap up the show in about 10 minutes, yeah? So I'm posting the link one more time. And if anybody wants to jump in the conversation, yeah, please do so. Reminding everyone to hit the like button and the subscribe button, them kind of things there. This is your last chance to get in and make a contribution on the conversation. I'm going to big up Betty is in the chat. Greetings, my sister Betty. It's love. Arsenal is in the chat. Also, you know what I'm saying? So big up. Yeah. Anybody got a comment? Yeah, at Got Kush TV or the super chat. I want to thank those who have made a contribution in the super chat so far. And yeah, we give thanks. Right. Any of my main panel members, Brother Tahaka, Sister Yemaya, Brother Rap Raven, want to make a contribution at this point on any of the above?
Yeah. I think it was the whole concept of someone brought up like having a balance, and I definitely think that's a good idea. But also, one of the things we'll be developing, hopefully, is like a choice-based platform. So with choice-based platform, you can have anything in there, and the consumer themselves is actually picking the content. And how you might sway them to other side is once you own the platform, you can have adverts between shows and like banners at the side, and that will inform them if they want to come for one kind of content, there's other content going on. And I can't say too much now, I've joined a couple other brothers, some elder brothers, and we're working on actually making a black-based media product. So that's one of the major things I'll be doing in 2019.
All right, that's beautiful. So, Sister Yemaya, you heard that, so you can see that there's avenues for exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, like, I'm not saying you have to get trash TV on the InSight show. I'm saying there's a show that's the InSight, and there's a show that's whatever else you're gonna do, and the consumer will choose what they want to watch, and they may also choose to watch the InSight while they're there.
Well, you know what? And it might be the case of, for example, like once we've got the clout and the audience, that we can license, certain shows out to other platforms. You know what I'm saying? And just put it there. So that's another way to do it.
And that's what I mean about the collaboration thing. It's about bringing joy in your forces, and because black media, even though we're growing in the UK, we're still a very small force. Together we can be a bigger force, and we can grow, and it's all about money, capital, and leverage and reach. And if you're gonna increase your reach, and it's not even about being black media, it's about being media, being a media provider that happens to be black. You know what I mean? It's like we don't need to say we're black or doing black content, because we just do it. Just do it. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And in terms of that branding and marketing, you're not saying, "Oh, this is just for black people." It's content that is, and it's content that is about us, for us, by us, and it's what it is. So
but hear that. You know what? I'm in the mind, between those two comments, people that are watching and in the chat, just hit the one button, I'm gonna come to you, brother MA. Just hit the one button, if you watched Bird Box, just hit the one button, right? Everybody else watched Bird Box, hit the one button right about now. I'm gonna hit the one button because I have definitely watched Bird Box. You get me? But I just want to know how much people in the chat have watched Bird Box. MA click 0, obviously man, I don't no television in it, so I sure it got. Jay Boogie says got Kush TV, an InSight show on why diverse thought sometimes get demonized in the black community, and why is cancel culture becoming a big thing. All right, give me an example of diverse thought. J Boogie, I want an example of diverse thought. Right, MA hasn't watched Bird Box. Scattered Minds has. J Boogie's halfway through. E Black watched it, but it was dead. Big up to user 0. He ain't watched it. He says 0. You know what I mean? B2. 1 has watched it. Amelia has watched it. Yeah, you get me. So enough people have watched it. You know the wickedest thing for me, why I'm very interested in that. Big up to Melanated Goddess has not watched it, because I feel like 99.9% of the promotion for Bird Box was done by people on social media. And like I just think Netflix put it at the top of their thing. You get me? And anybody that had Netflix, it was impossible for them not to see Bird Box, and everybody just started talking about it on social media. No promotion was done for that thing. I don't know if anybody can harmonize with my experience of that, but I just thought it was mad, like how everybody for about a week was talking about Bird Box, just so. You know what I mean? Interesting thing. Brother Emma, you got a question?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what people define as trash TV, because the conversation that the sister would, the comments that the sister was making, and some people have kind of backed that comment as well about combining trash TV with trash content with conscious content. I'm curious to know like what people constitute as trash. Why? I don't know. I'm curious to know what people think. Yamaya, you can come at me,
Yeah. I just responded to you in the comment section actually. So for me, when you're talking about trash TV, there's a scale. Now there's that, and we're making up this term trash TV, just like the term hotep has been made up. Do you know what I mean? And I would say like, I wouldn't put love and hip hop on with Got Kush TV, but I would put something on like Backchat with on if we was to have a network, say for example, if you look at like Younger TV or BET is an umbrella network, and then they have all different types of content, like you mentioned in the comments about BET, and then you can decide what kind of, you could say, hard content and soft content. So let's forget the term trash TV. Let's look at soft content and hard content. Hard content being serious topics that we covered on the InSight, and soft TV will be a drama about 4 women who graduated from university and happen to be black and their lives graduated or something, just throwing it out there. That will be soft TV. And my point is just having the balance with, you know, something that is not always a serious topic, or something that's not always going to be intellectual. Otherwise you're not going to get viewers. You're going to have the viewers who are going to want to watch that, and that's going to be a limited pool, and people who are going to want to watch something that's not as involving are not going to tune in. And you want to have a platform where you're going to have as many subscribers or as many viewers, and that can cater to the diversity that is the black community. We are very diverse, so all of us are pro-black or conscious. Some of us are very, some of us are semi, some of us aren't. But doesn't mean that those of us that aren't can't learn or participate in our content, and we can't participate in theirs. That's all I'm saying.
I think part of what you were saying also, yeah, and I get your comment on this, brother MA, is that because of the fact that what we might call trash, the love and hip hop has been used a few times, yeah. And personally,
basically,
I'm not gonna lie, like I watched 2 seasons of that some years ago, yeah, and literally just had to stop because like I couldn't believe the levels, yeah, of things that I was watching. It was literally, I felt my spirit was being affected by this. I'm not gonna lie, yeah. But there's far more people watching love and hip hop right now, yeah, than watching the InSight, yeah, or UK Fire, or a show on Black Group Economics. Yeah, there's far more heads going, you know, cinema, yeah, to watch Black Panther than was watching 1804 documentary, yeah, you know what I'm saying, by Elite Productions and them kind of things there. That's not to say Black Panther was trash. I'm just using it as an example. It's not black owned, yeah. But even in that sphere, when it is black owned, there's far more black people going to watch what Sister Yemaya talked about in terms of black targeted media than engaging in black owned media. So I think I see what the sister is saying in the sense of the fact that in order to penetrate the masses of our people, we have to engage them where they're at and engage them on the platforms, yeah, the platforms through whatever they're watching at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Them kind of things there. I don't know what you think about that, brother Emmy.
Sorry, I missed that last point. What did you say? Come again?
No, I'm just saying, I think the sister was kind of talking about the fact that the audience, yeah, is bigger for what we might call trash TV or soft TV, yeah? And so a part of the strategy has to be penetrating that audience. And so part of how we penetrate that audience, big up to Melanated Goddess. Somebody can hear my my son in the background. I thought the sister was calling me baby for a second. I got all warm on that. You get me? So yeah, but yeah, I agree with the terminology though. Since low vibration TV, let's use that term, low vibration TV. A lot of us are engaging in the low vibration TV, so we need to find a way to penetrate, let's say, high vibration content on platforms whereby our brothers and sisters are engaging with low vibration TV as a way of, you know, getting the message across.
But even low vibration TV, it's not always, it's escapism as well, you know?
Yeah.
Some people watch low vibration TV just to switch off and just to go somewhere else for a few minutes or a couple of hours. And that's not necessarily a bad thing all the time. It's only if it's all you consume. And I also want to say that there's more than one way to be black, you know? You know, being black doesn't mean you have to be just conscious or Christian or this or that or the other. As a community, we are so diverse, we are so multifaceted, and that should be reflected in our media.
I hear that.
That's what I'm saying.
I hear that. Jay Boogie says, at Got Kush TV, answering the question about example of diverse. An example can be someone in the community being bullied or shamed into groupthink instead of being allowed to express how they feel politically, spiritually, etc. All right. Like a religious family marginalizing a family member who decides to explore African spirituality. Okay. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say, yeah, I feel like when we talk about that, I feel like conscious community is possibly the least served community or the least represented community or section of the black community in black media. Yeah. That's my. I don't know if anybody agrees with that. Like, hit one if you agree with what I just said. Yeah, and two. Again?
Can you repeat what you just said? Sorry.
Right. I'm saying that the black conscious people, yeah, section of the black community is possibly the least served and least represented in black media. What I mean by that is watch black media or black targeted media, and how much is the black conscious perspective portrayed, or how much are black conscious people portrayed, and if they are portrayed respectively?
No, yeah, black conscious people are normally like mocked or portrayed as like hoteps, or kind of caricature some type of way.
Yeah. So there's a need for like balanced representation of the black community. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a lot more representation of probably every other like manifestation of black. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if we want like black upper class living, we watch Scandal. Yeah, if you want black middle class living, we watch Empire. You know what I mean? Like, if we want the black punk, yeah, we'll go to the Afro Punk Festival. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if there's anything on them levels there coming from a pro-black, conscious, nationalist, them kind of thing, their perspective. African spirit. I don't know. I don't see it in it. So maybe there's some maybe Sister Yemaya, yeah. But I'll put this to you, my sister. Maybe part of it is that like we need the platforms them that are representing that to develop their strength, yeah, in a certain way that will compel the rest of the black targeted or black media to represent this thing properly.
Yeah, it's all down to money and numbers. Because at the end of the day, if the media outlets and corporations, see that this kind of content is being viewed by many and is making lots of money, then they will jump on it quick time without a shadow of a doubt. But it's not at the moment. It's not at the moment. And we've got to think about what is it that is preventing that from happening. And one of the things that I'm saying is that it's a very, very small market, one, and the market doesn't like to spend much money. Too, and it doesn't have much advertising scope because it's so niche.
Okay.
Well, so advertisers ain't gonna come to you and say, we're gonna pay you to advertise our this, that, and the other, because your viewers are only black conscious people.
All right, that's an interesting point. We're gonna have to go into that on another occasion. I think the multimedia managers agree with that. He said the black consciousness repels advertising revenue in the media. That is why it's so underrepresented. Interesting. So then maybe there's a conversation that needs to be had then in terms of, is it possible for us to widen or broaden our market with this kind of content, or is there not? You know what I'm saying? Maybe have we maximized the thing? Maybe we have, maybe we haven't. Right, we're winding down the show. I'm gonna get a final comment from we're gonna get rid of everybody apart from our main panelists, yeah. And we're gonna get a final comment. So I'm gonna say goodbye to content over everything. Content, you there? Is man there though?
Content's like, I'm staying, man. I'm staying. You ain't kicking me off the show.
I don't want to eject them.
My bad. Yeah, I'm gonna cut. I respect.
Yeah. So yeah, give thanks for joining us. We're gonna wrap up the show now. So I'm gonna let everybody go. But yeah, once again, Kings and Queens, subscribe to Content Over Everything. Check out what the brother is doing and make support the thing. You don't know. Give thanks for joining us, Content.
I respect, brother. Yeah, man.
Bless up. So yeah, asking you to press the hang up button now. My brother E Black.
Yo, bless up, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for joining us, and do join us again. I hope you subscribe to Got Kush TV.
Yeah, done that already, man. Come on.
Give thanks. We'll converse again soon. Give thanks, my brother. Yes, sir. Please hit the hang up button. Brother Raz.
Yeah, thanks for having me, brother.
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks.
We'll have you again. We'll have you again. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for joining us.
All
right.
Thank you, man.
And I'm sure you subscribed as well.
Of course, man. Like, subscribe, the whole thing, man. Comment.
Good. Bless up. All right, give thanks, Raz. Please hit the hang up button. And my brother, last but by no means least, the Black Intellectual Shia.
Blessings, brother. Brilliant show. People, them like, subscribe. I'm loving what you're doing, brother, and the panel. Hopefully, inshallah, it gets successful. And it's East of the Great Black Intellectual Muslim. But that's fine, brother. Appreciate it. Huh?
I stand corrected.
No problem, brother. Take care. Peace out, family.
Peace out. All right. I'm gonna come to Sister Yemaya last, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the way it's supposed to go right about now. The sister energy to wrap up the thing. I'm gonna start with Brother Rap Raven just for a closing word.
Yeah, let's say thanks for the invite. And this is Black Media, like the network we have here. And what you realize that a lot of people who came in on the actual chat themselves and who've met along the way, we've all met from different places and we've come together and we've like shared ideas. And I think moving forward, this is what we should be doing anyway, you know? Like every time a new person comes in, just bring them in the fold and share their idea, their media. And that's one thing I'm doing. I'm working on a big platform that should be coming out hopefully this year. We're funding it ourselves and getting some other additional funding. And but when that comes, you guys will get the first kind of link, I guess, and build.
Beautiful. We appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Big up to the Melanated Goddess. She said, I love this show, much needed content, food for thought, and give thanks. And yes, thank you for subscribing, my sister. Check out the InSight. The previous episode of the InSight is already live, and the next episode of the InSight will be released. Is premiering on Monday coming. You can watch the teaser right now. So check out the videos, yeah, and you will see all that information right there. You can check out the teaser right now, coming this Monday, yeah. And do share your insights share your thoughts on the topics that we deal with on the InSight. Brother Scattered Minds, Tahaka, what's your closing words, my brother?
Big up, bless up, Shakura. Well, first of all, I'll tell everyone to make sure they like and subscribe. And make sure if you got a chance and you still haven't done it yet, hit a super chat if you can. You could go down as low as £1, £2, £3, anything. Every little helps. And by doing that, you're supporting Black media and black channels. And so we do really have to get, like I just said, like I think if you're watching this show right now, go and tell somebody else about it. And the next time you're talking to a black person, or you're talking about TV shows, or talking about channels or things that you're watching, tell them about these types of channels and tell them about YouTube Live and YouTube videos. Tell them about the insights. Tell them about the different things, content of everything, all the different video channels out there, and all the different media platforms we have. And actually try and be our word of mouth media, because a lot of the time we don't have the big budgets or whatever to go out and push a lot of these channels. I mean, eventually when we do, we'll be pushing these channels on all the platforms and advertising. Until then, I think if you're a supporter of these shows, you got to support by just using your word of mouth and promoting for us if you can. So I think that's the what I'll leave off. Like, you've got good media platforms here and we've got good content. And if you want to see that content go further and you want more conscious community content, like the easiest way to help is like, comment, subscribe, and share. Easy.
All right. Give thanks, brother content. Brother Scattered. You don't know. And thank you for joining us on the show. My sister, my beautiful, powerful sister, who's brought the controversy into the building this evening. We appreciate you, my sister. What's your closing words?
Sorry, can I just say I agree with like everything your mind said, sorry, as well. Well,
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm just saying the spirit of my art is just speaking, because for me, I'm a very pragmatic person, and it's all about balance for me. And I feel like Black media has a bright future. I mean, the fact that we've got so much going on already, and you've got content over everything, and all the other platforms that are out there, all the other outlets that are out there, is showing that there is, people who are willing to put on these platforms, and there is people consuming this type of media. So there is a future for it, and it's just about harnessing the power that we have and making it go further. So I'm looking forward to, the future of black media in the UK, because we know that America's already gone clear and already got that on lock, and you know, we're not far behind, I think, you know, in terms of quality and the standards. You know, Got Kush TV doing things to a very high standard, and so on of the other platforms. And I feel like keep tuning in, keep subscribing, keep sharing, and you know, it's only going to get better, it's only going to get bigger. And you know, these kind of discussions are so important, because not only do you get to find out what your audience wants, what your audience needs, but you can also discuss what is working and what's not working, and have strategies to move forward and to reach the ideals that we are all hoping for, which is to have content that is wholesome, such as this, that we can consume and enjoy on a regular basis, one that generates money, and one that is uplifting our community and serving the multiple needs of a community, whether it be intellectual, whether it be escapism, whether it be entertainment purposes, whether it be, you know, financial education. You know, our community has a multitude of needs, a multitude of ideals, and a multitude of endeavors that we can, you know, all, you know, cater to. And if media is going to be if black media is going to be, you know, sustainable and long lasting and remain relevant, we need to see us as a holistic, you know, see ourselves in a holistic way, with putting our welfare at the forefront. I feel like conscious content is all about our welfare and our upliftment. That should always be the number one focus and the number one driver and force in black media.
Well, kings and queens, you've heard it here, you know. I told you at the beginning, get used to that voice and get used to that face, because our sister Yemaya is going to be presenting on Got Kush TV in the coming months, you know what I mean? And it's a pleasure to have her. You can obviously see, yeah, why, you know what I mean? She's, you know, we're ready and rearing to rope her in to the tea, kings and queens, and let loose.
I want to mind show.
Say again?
One on the Scan Mind show still.
Yeah. Go link up the system. You know what I mean, link up the system, my brother. You get me, and you know, I'm sure she'll come true. You know, powerful sister. That we
thank you for that.
You know what I mean? You know, so we will give thanks. Content over everything. We are humbled, my brother. We are humbled by your contribution of £5 in the super chat. It's much appreciated. It's very, very much appreciated. I'm going to read out brother MA's comment last and finally, and I'm going to leave it there. My art principle is sometimes misused. Balance already exists. How low is the binary opposite supposed to be? That is the main question. Also, ask, why do black people need so much trash? Good question. I feel like brother MA needs to do the insight on music and spirituality after that comment. Lord mercy. Let me. All right, kings and queens. I'm going to end by saying a few things. Once again, like, subscribe, comment, share. You know what I'm saying? After all this video done, you know, comment on the video underneath it. Let's big up the show. Share the content. There's many links in the description, yeah, that pertain to what Got Kush TV has coming up. So check out the Got Kush TV 2.0 video for our, you know, a brief manifesto of what we're doing in the coming months. Check out the trailer for the next episode of the InSight, and you can set a reminder for when the next episode premieres. Yeah, check out the video. Just scroll through the videos and see some of the things that we've been doing since 2015. Yeah. You know what I mean? And let brothers and sisters know about it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we look forward to supporting you supporting you more as you support us in the future. The whole point of doing this live was to really have a direct engagement with our audience, yeah, because we've spoken a lot about collaboration, and we feel like the most important people to collaborate with are the people that are watching us, the people that are supporting what we're doing, so that we can best serve you the best way that we can, and with your consultation, kings and queens. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna do this periodically, maybe not every 2 weeks or every week, but periodically we're just gonna do a live, just so we can engage directly with our audience. Share some more thoughts from other brothers and sisters and get your thoughts and feelings. And as we close out, I'm going to end with another quote from brother Amos Wilson from the book Blueprint for Black Power. He says, if an African-centered liberation movement is to be successful, it must rescue the collective African mind and soul from the clutches of Eurocentric and non-Afrocentric ideology. Such a movement must organize itself for a struggle to the death against the continuing internalization of self-defeating, self-destructive ideas by African peoples. It must unite these peoples around the ideology of Afrocentrism and inculcate within their breasts a life-saving, life-giving, liberating African-centered consciousness and identity. It must incite the peoples to new self-knowledge, to the discovery and development of the creative, operative strategies, social relations and arrangements, new values and visions with which they will break asunder forever the shackles of white supremacy. These ends can only be attained if the Afrocentric movement goes on the ideological offensive with an overpowering vengeance. Like, subscribe, comment, share. This is Got Kush TV, your #1 black conscious media platform, putting the power in black media. Always remember, you ain't got nothing if you ain't got Kush.